Well, as promised, I promised to deliver WrestleMania 36 Part 2 Night 2 review. Um this show sucked. That's all there really is to say. Um I was pissed about the opener, which was Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship. I missed the entire matchup between Aleister Black and Bobby Lashley, so I really can't make any comments or feelings on that match, how it went down, and everything else in between. Nor do I really care. Um, this was a travesty in itself. Charlotte Flair wins, beating Rhea Ripley in the first match. Now, I will give it this much credit. Charlotte Flair performed very well in this match. So did Rhea Ripley. It was a good match. The end result was garbage. And it just felt like another bullshit story like they did with Asuka back in 2018. And back then, I guess I was okay with it. But I honestly felt that that was a title that should have been given to Asuka over Charlotte Flair, giving her an opportunity to shine. Same thing here, even worse, the fact that it was for the NXT Women's Championship, and now Charlotte Flair is going to be showing up on NXT. I have a major issue with that, which, by the way, guys, I am not going to be doing any more reviews after tonight for WWE's product. If I see Charlotte Flair lose the championship against the winner of the NXT ladder match to determine the number one contender for the women's championship against Charlotte, and she loses to the winner of that match, I'll be okay with this, and things will go back to normal. At least I'll be reviewing NXT. Honestly, I don't know what to say to any of this. I just got a text. I apologize if you see me touching the screen. I was trying to close that out so I wasn't distracted. But I, quite frankly, don't like this idea. I think it's a terrible, terrible idea just so they can say they're going to get ratings, which they're not. They have not been getting ratings even. They're getting less ratings now that this virus is broken out and everything. There's nothing to say here. The match was great. The strategy by Charlotte Flair was tremendous. Very much like her father, Ric Flair. I think she needs to stick with that kind of wrestling technique in a lot of her matches. It makes it feel very much more sport-related type mentality. She didn't seem like she was playing like come behind victory type of thing. It was more back and forth, but at the same time, she took her opponent and made a weak point within her legs and then worked on them throughout the entire match. That's exactly Ric Flair's repertoire, what he used to do back in the day. And the same thing applied here, and she did a very good job emulating her father. So quite frankly, nothing against Charlotte Flair, nothing against the match, but the result was just absolutely terrible. I didn't think that Rhea Ripley should have been tapping out to Charlotte Flair number one, nor did I think Rhea Ripley should make Charlotte Flair tap out. If they would have went with a very lucky victory for Charlotte Flair to roll up Rhea Ripley and hold tight of her legs because she worked on the legs and she won that way, I wouldn't be so down on the result, I guess, because Rhea Ripley wouldn't have looked that beaten, but she was decisively beaten by Charlotte Flair. So where does Rhea Ripley go now? Because in my mind, she can't get a rematch. I don't see there's any point in doing a rematch here, number one. Number two, there was nothing that grants her a rematch. She didn't earn it. She tapped out. She just definitively lost this match. So I wouldn't see her as a challenger for the championship in the next title defense that Charlotte Flair has. And I don't see her deserving enough to get a rematch after the number one contender faced Charlotte Flair and Charlotte Flair lost to her. Anyway, whoever that might be. So I honestly don't think that would be a great idea. Now, here's what I would do. I would make Dakota Kai win this match. I would make Dakota Kai then face Charlotte Flair and then beat Charlotte Flair for the NXT Women's Championship. While that's all going on, you could also build Rhea Ripley up, have Dakota Kai have a couple of title defenses under her belt, and then face Rhea Ripley in a grudge match over the title based on what happened last year. So you could have her face Rhea Ripley during the fall or winter, around November, during the Survivor Series weekend, and revisit with that at War Games. I think that would be a beautiful way to tie that all in together, because at the end of the day, even if Rhea Ripley was to retain, I still felt that Dakota Kai should have gotten an opportunity for this title and win the number one contenders match. So that's who I think should be facing Rhea Ripley. Now, since Rhea Ripley is no longer the champion, Charlotte Flair is, Dakota Kai winning this and then going on to face Rhea Ripley later on at War Games later on this year makes it even sweeter. So if they go that route, I'm happy with the decision they went with. But at some point, they really should go back to have a WWE main roster competitor go for an NXT championship of some sort and have the champion retain the title, not lose it to a WWE main roster. I think that's stupid. You want to build superstars to get people to notice those stars from NXT that are not familiar with the product so that they can come over and look at it. And as well, when they make it to the main roster, people take an interest in what they're going to be doing when they get there. So that's all I really have to say on that. But I am extremely pissed off about this. I'm not very happy with what happened to Rhea Ripley, and I'm not going to spend all night talking about this for 20, 30 minutes plus. So I'm just going to move on. You guys know the deal, how I feel about this. I think it's an absolute fucking joke. And at this point in time, I'm not going to be reviewing WWE's main product. A modern day product. I'm not going to be doing the pay-per-views. I'm not doing NXT reviews. WWE's banned from my channel until they get Charlotte Flair no longer being the women's champion. And they're very lucky I kind of changed my mind, because my best friend Matt went ahead and he talked to me. He says, dude, look, I understand that you're pissed off, but give it a chance. If at that point they don't take the title off of Charlotte Flair after they determine the number one contender in that ladder match, I will admit that they have failed NXT. That Vince McMahon is destroying NXT, and they're just victims to this senile old bastard, which I don't think he's senile. I don't think senility has anything to do with the fact of what he is doing to this company. This has to do with the fact I don't think he gives two flying fucks about the WWE, the fans, or professional wrestling in itself. And for that, I banned WWE on my channel. I really can't support them. I can't go ahead and continue to get the middle finger by Vince McMahon every fucking time. Once in a while is one thing. That's to get me aggravated with a heel that he's pushing down our throats, to then eventually giving us what we want later on down the road, which is what he used to do. Now he don't do that. Now he takes anybody and everybody who nobody likes, even if they're a face or a heel, and makes them win every fucking time. And the ones that we do they lose all the time. It used to be where the face would get screwed over a lot, but there was people that actually liked some of the heels. So, I mean, everybody got something of what they wanted. Today's day and age, nobody gets what they want at all. But Aleister Black and Bobby Lashley competed one-on-one. Aleister Black beat Bobby Lashley in 7 minutes and 20 seconds. Like I said, I did not watch that match. I am not giving any kind of match of the night. I'm not giving moment of the night. I'm not giving anything like I normally have been doing lately with these pay-per-views. If you're new to the channel, you've subscribed, take a look at some of the previous reviews I've done on the pay-per-views. I do this only pay-per-view type thing like you would do with a end-of-the-year rewards type thing or a UFC event, knockout of the night, match of the night, and the submission of the night type thing. That's what I kind of do with these pay-per-views. I kind of list off the moment of the night, spot of the night, or the match of the night as my 3 rewards for the entire show, what I felt was the best thing on the entire pay-per-view. So if you haven't seen those previous videos done, please check them out. You'll understand how I do things on this channel. If you understand what I'm saying, then yeah, I mean, just for fun, if you wanted to take a look at some of the reviews I've put up for pay-per-views only, by all means, check it out. Take a look at it, see what you think. Leave a comment down below if you wanted to leave a comment as well, just to get my thoughts and hear your thoughts and your opinions on that. I'd love to hear from you guys about that. So, Otis defeated Dolph Ziggler in a lame-o match in 8 minutes and 15 seconds, which I did not give 2 flying fucks about. Because Otis had a victory over Dolph Ziggler that meant absolutely nothing. Yeah, okay, so what? They revealed that Mandy Rose was not really giving up on the relationship with Otis at all. She was willing to give him a date, but only Sonya Deville fucked that up and cost her the ability to have that date with Otis back on February 14th. So, that was ruined on Friday Night SmackDown. By all means, who gives a fuck? Otis doesn't deserve a moment. He's just a fat, overblown blimp with a lot of charisma and is a very humorous character. So, there you go. Vince McMahon will never push Otis to do anything special within this company. So, don't count on it for them to do anything special for him. Edge versus Randy Orton, one-on-one in a last man standing match. I thought for a moment, and folks, I was dead serious about this. I sat down, I was watching the match, and I said to myself, Randy Orton wins this match, I'm done. I can't watch, look, none of that shit. I cannot sit back and watch this shit ever again. But thankfully, they went with Edge winning this matchup. It was a very rough, strenuous match for these two guys. These guys really beat the hell out of each other. Now, granted, it wasn't the best match on the pay-per-view itself. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to give it that much credit. But at the end of the day, these guys did put a lot of work on one another physically. The match was slow, very lethargic. But granted, with things being the way they were in this matchup, I think you could understand why the match was so slow. I did like the fact that they wrestled throughout the entire performance center. They were wrestling in the weight room. They were performing in the office where everyone would sit down, I guess, and they kind of sat and talked about like plans and ideas, what they're doing or how they're doing things in the within the performance center and where they need to get at. I guess that's what that room is for, or to sit down and have professional talks about certain things, where they're at, where they need to improve, that kind of shit. But whatever. So there was actually like a steel cage hanging flat on the roof, and Edge grabs that while they're on the desk, grabs that, holds up on it, puts his legs on it, and then drops himself and elbows him, Randy Orton, right in the square of the chest. And man, did that fucking hurt like a bitch. Some other things that happened. The concerto by Edge is really where the match ended. Randy Orton looked like he was out of it once he delivered that concerto on Randy Orton by Edge. And at that point, the match was over. They counted to 10, and that was all. So that's the end of that match. That match was decent, though. I will give them that. For physicality reasons only, it was good. Speed and tempo, it was really boring, if you really think about it. But when it comes to the brutality, it definitely was there for this match. So if you're not too worried about the tempo of the match, and you're just really interested in seeing some really big-time physicality, this was definitely in this match, so this is definitely the match for you if that's what you're looking for. The next match after that was the Street Profits defending the tag team titles from Raw against Angel Garza and Austin Theory. Didn't really pay much attention to this match, nor did it even get a lot of time. From what I see here on Wikipedia, it got 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Holy shit, that's pretty short amount of time there. Feels like something you could put on fucking Monday Night Raw if you really wanted to. So, nothing really there. Bayley faced Lacey Evans, Naomi, Sasha Banks, and Tamina. Now, I will say this to you guys. I was very surprised that Bayley retained her championship. I'm very surprised she retained the SmackDown Women's title against Lacey Evans being the last one really involved in this match. And she almost beat both Sasha Banks and Bayley at the end of this match. I was very shocked that they didn't go that route, and I'm glad they didn't, because Lacey Evans does not deserve to win the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. Now the way things are looking very interesting here, because things are starting to look like Sasha Banks and Bayley might start developing a grudge match with the title on the line. I think that's perfect setup. I think that is awesome. And Bayley screwed Sasha Banks really out of the match. She almost gets hit with the women's right by Lacey Evans, and Sasha Banks stops her from delivering that to her, and then throws... Sasha Banks grabs Lacey Evans' arm, throws it, and then Lacey Evans hits her with a woman's right, and fucking Bayley is nowhere to be found. She's in the corner sitting there watching her get pinned. And apparently, I guess Sasha Banks did not realize that that was the case, and she fell outside the ring. Later in the match, as things were progressing and coming to the end, Sasha Banks comes in, helps hits the bank statement on Lacey Evans, and then Bayley hits her finishing maneuver, which I think was a modified face plant into the ring, into the mat, and she gets the 1, 2, 3 and wins. What really caught my eye was after the match was over, she's standing on the top rope screaming she's the best. No one in that locker room can touch her, and she is the greatest SmackDown Women's Champion to ever step foot on that brand. As she's saying all this, you know Sasha Banks is hearing all this shit. She's standing by the aisleway going up to the ramp, and you'd think that you'd notice that she's kind of angry, maybe a little dumbfounded, saying to herself, what am I fucking wasting my time for? And she did get hit in the face by accident by Bayley. I don't think it was meant to be done on purpose. But the Bayley could have done something to help Sasha Banks stay in the match, where those two could have been the last two to compete over the title. But unfortunately, that was not the case. And then Bayley ends up winning anyway. Now, this is going to surprise a lot of people, and this match wasn't even really a match. The Firefly Funhouse match with The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and John Cena. John Cena didn't do anything in this match. This match was a one-sided beatdown in a very unique and very different manner than any of us have ever seen before in any wrestling capacity. We saw this as a, like Undertaker and AJ Styles. This match was like Bray Wyatt was portraying Freddy Krueger. That's how I kind of looked at it. I looked at it as Bray Wyatt as Freddy Krueger playing inside this nightmare in John Cena's own mind. That's how I kind of looked at it, because they kind of ran down all the different paths in John Cena's career, showed some of the people that he beat that a lot of fans thought that John Cena should have lost to, and he didn't. CM Punk being one of them. CM Punk never really had a legitimate win over John Cena ever in his career, quite frankly. That SummerSlam win was a joke. The Money in the Bank was memorable, but if you really look at it, CM Punk had a distraction. John Cena got distracted in that match by Vincent Mann, talking to him, telling him to finish the match, and he wanted to go ahead and have a Montreal reenactment screw job to CM Punk, and John Cena didn't want that. So he walked up to Vincent Mann out of the ring, told him, look, we ain't having it this way. I want to win this match legitimately. And then he gets distracted, comes back into the ring, and gets hit with a GTS, go to sleep, and he loses the title. So a lot of the matches that John Cena has had over the years, against some of the bigger names, he didn't really put them over in the manner that people felt he should have put them over. So I thought that was very cool, the way they kind of went through with that and talked about that. One thing I did love about this was Bray Wyatt reenacting some of the old legends like Kurt Angle, Eric Bischoff. That was definitely something I really enjoyed, watching him try and reenact of those people. Especially Kurt Angle, he did a great job trying to reiterate the same words that Kurt Angle did before John Cena came down. I thought it was absolutely funny how John Cena was coming down in the same ring attire that he was dressed in back in 2002 when he first started. And he was kind of dumbfounded why he was doing this, and he just kept going along with it because it was being, I guess, mentally forced into it by Bray Wyatt, making him a supernatural being, which I thought was pretty fucking cool in itself. The whole reenactment of NWO with WCW, I didn't quite get that, except for them trying to take... I think they were using Bray Wyatt as taking shots as like John Cena was like a Hulk Hogan. All those big names that got, a lot of credibility in the wrestling industry, even though they had no wrestling background whatsoever that really came across wrestling technique-wise, like a Bret Hart, a Kurt Angle, a Chris Benoit, even though, yes, I understand Chris Benoit is not liked by anyone these days because of what he did. I don't blame anyone for that, but you can't deny Chris Benoit was a great technician wrestler. Just as a side note. Another guy like Owen Hart, Ric Flair, those are some other guys I forgot to mention. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, my God, he had some awesome matches with fucking Ric Flair in WCW. If you never watched any of them, go on the WWE Network. You'll check them out. You'll see them, and you'll understand what I was talking about. So, I mean, at the end of the day, guys, that was the whole gimmick of this match. It was taking a shot at John Cena, John Cena allowing him to do that. I believe John Cena had some creative control of this whole movie-type cinema match, and I think he kind of instilled some of that into the movie as a way to talk to the fans and say, look, maybe it was his way of saying, look, I, may have been given these things, but I earned them, unlike like a Hulk Hogan or a or whatever. And he wanted to be portrayed as that character, though, to go ahead and get Bray Wyatt over in this match, making him very dominant in this movie cinema type wrestling match. So I give John Cena a lot of credit for this match. I mean, it wasn't anything special. It was more like a promo video movie type thing, but still pretty entertaining. I thought it was funny. It made me laugh. I absolutely laughed my ass off after the match was over. Titus O'Neil is standing where Rob Gronkowski was earlier in the show. He wins the 24/7 7-Eleven championship, as R-Truth would put it. And Titus O'Neil is standing on the perch where the NXT broadcast table was during the time that they had their show. And he goes, "What did I just see?" He had the look on his face like, what the fuck did I just see? Like, what the fuck was this? I don't understand. So I thought that was fucking funny as hell. Then they cut straight to the main event. They do their promo hype-up video package with Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. This match ended in 4 minutes and 28 seconds. And there was nothing to it. Just a lot of repetitive finishers done to each other. The Claymore kick, the F5, few German suplexes. That's all we saw in this match. I don't understand one thing. Why is Brock Lesnar and Goldberg getting matches for this fucking pay-per-view if they're not going to do anything? Goldberg's one thing, but Brock Lesnar is a different story. He can still go. He's in a healthy condition. He's got stamina. He works out. He keeps himself in shape. Why is it that this man can't do a decent match where it's memorable, of some kind of wrestling matchup that goes at least 10, 15 minutes? He used to put on matches that would go 10, 15 minutes. I had no major issues with it. But at this point, his matches are complete, utter garbage. I don't care if he put over Drew McIntyre in this situation where Drew McIntyre just wins the match. You are the main event. Have the match go at least 10 minutes. 10 minutes tops. Give us at least 10 minutes of your fucking time and give us a match with multiple different holds that are different. Give us a variety of moves here. This was ridiculous. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm done. I can't do WWE anymore. I can't review it. I probably won't be able to watch it my own self. Fuck reviewing it. I probably won't even be able to watch it. So, I have nothing to say here. This is a fucking travesty. Rhea Ripley loses her title. We get a fucking really entertaining match with the Firefly Funhouse, but really, was it a match or was it just a 15-minute video of rehearsing all the things that happened back in the day, but yet was entertaining? But was it a match? No. If we had gotten to see this at Raymond James Stadium, we would have actually gotten a fucking legit match. So, and John Cena, he got fortunate with this virus coming about, not because it's great to have this virus of any kind, but in John Cena's case, he didn't have to do shit. He just went ahead, reenacted some of the scenes in his life as a professional wrestler, and then reenacted them in the middle of a fucking ring. And that's all. Big whoop. Woohoo. Couple of matches. Aleister Black, Bobby Lashley, trash. Otis and Dolph Ziggler, trash. Edge and Orton, long drawn-out match that could have been shortened down a little bit, I think, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, it was physical, it was believable, and it really, really was a decent last man standing match. Street Profits defeating Angel Garza And Austin Theory wasn't even noteworthy. Could have been put as the main event on Raw Monday night instead of this shit. Bayley, very surprised Bayley retained her title. And like I said, Drew McIntyre, Brock Lesnar, fucking joke. That's just my conclusion to this review. Leave your comments and opinions down below. Hit the like button if you like this video, and hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. And I thank you very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.